Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey. Right guys, so we are back in Chiang Rai. I rode all the way back from the north. I booked one hotel here in Chiang Rai again, same one that I left. And I went to sleep 8-9 p.m. last night. And the idea was to wake up now, 6 a.m. and start the journey back to Chiang Mai. But as you can see, it's absolutely tipping it down. I've had a shower, got ready to go, man. So I'm gonna take the Phayao route back, which is longer. Let's do it. Not the greatest coffee in the world. Don't do it too high, that's the mistake I used to make. Right, I think after this coffee and croissant, now it's time to start the journey. 10 past 6. Wet, miserable, and I've still got 3.5 hours to go. I don't recommend it in the rainy season. Just don't do it if you don't have to do it. You know, but it's rainy season, so you know, there's no point moaning about it. I chose to do it. But yeah, I won't be doing it again this time of year. It wouldn't be so bad if I was like an hour from home. Still got 3.5 hours, and it don't look like there's much break in the sky today either. And that Phayao to Chiang Rai mountain road, in the dry it's bad enough. Right, I'm just gonna wait here till it stops, and hopefully it's a short one and we can get going again. So as you can see, we are back in the old stomping ground, Chiang Mai city. The last time you seen me, it was peeing down when we pulled over just outside of Chiang Rai. I was going to Phayao, then on to Chiang Mai. So I took the Phayao route to avoid the roadworks on the 118 Chiang Mai to Chiang Rai road. I took the Phayao route. It's just more chilled, it's more relaxed. I chilled out in Phayao for a little bit. Got some food in Tesco Lotus. I still say Tesco Lotus. Lotuses. And I got ready for the 2.5 hour stint from Phayao to Chiang Mai. So the Phayao to Chiang Mai road is basically, until you meet the 118 again, you're like in the wilderness, going up and down just mountainous road. Nothing about. I got to about 70 kilometers outside of Chiang Mai, so not too far from Doi Saket. We were going like 70, 60, 70, and that's, you know, that's fast on her, man. Up and down. She'd been through the ringer on the old trip, mate, up and down mountains. And yeah, with about 60 kilometers to go, I felt her drop a little bit, and she's done that before, and I thought, she's just, you know, the engine has been going up and down mountains for the last 5 or 6 days. And I looked down on the dashboard, and the heat warning light was on, and I thought, man, that's never ever been on before. I've never had the overheating light on before. You know, I couldn't pull over right where I was, but I thought something is wrong here, man. Something is wrong. So the next little turn off place, which was just basically on the side of a main highway road from Phayao, there was nothing else about. I pulled over, I let her cool down, I looked down on the floor, and there was just a pool of yellow greenish liquid. I sort of panicked because I was in the middle of nowhere. I've got 60 kilometers to get home and nobody's around. I'm on a little tiny side bit of the main road. You know, I could have flagged down a car. So then I thought, like, when that red light comes on, you shouldn't ride the bike really. You could seize the engine up. If there was an oil leak, I could have totaled the whole bike. I could have ruined it. But I thought, I've got to get home, man. You know, I'm not flagging anybody down. It's going to take ages, so I'm going to chance it. If I've wrecked the bike, if I've wrecked Lucille and the engine seizes up or something, then it's the perfect chance to buy a new bike. So for 66 kilometers, I was on the hard shoulder doing 20 kilometers all the way back, and it took about 2 or 3 hours, man. The last 60 kilometers took me 3 hours to get home because I was basically coming to a crawl at the side of the road. I thought she's gonna go any second, or she's gonna burst into flames or something, and I was going super slow in case the engine did seize up. I got to Doisaket in about 2 hours, and I just carried on going for some reason. I thought, you know, she's all right. There's no smoke coming out now. There was when I pulled over when it first happened, a little bit of blue smoke, and I thought just keep trundling. And if you remember, at the start of this series, I had loads of stuff done to her, so she was making that rattle noise, and for the whole trip I knew that wasn't right because it wasn't there before. And if you've seen the mountains I had to get over to go to Chiang Kong, I didn't record it, I didn't do no road recording this time, but man, it is a high road you have to get over for Chiang Kong. And if it happened there, I'm so lucky it happened 60 kilometers from being home on the way back. If it happened on the rest of the journey, all the big hills I was going up, man, I would have been stuck there while they fixed the bike. So the local guy that normally does my oil change, he's always cheap and he does it good. I never go to him for big stuff, but I thought it's right near my house, let's just take it to him. He don't speak a word of English, but I thought I can walk to there and back to my house if he needs to keep the bike, which he did. I went there, told him all about it, got the old translate out, and yeah, he said overheating, probably the coolant, it's probably all burnt out inside or something. So he said I need 2 to 3 days, and yeah, I wasn't too happy with that. I thought, oh, what am I gonna do for 2 to 3 days? So I said, yep, stayed home for 3 days, just went out in the garden waiting for Lucille, man. Where I live, you need a bike, mate. On the 3rd day, he phoned up and he said, she ready. So I went to get her, started her up. All good. He told me what he changed, he gave me the list, and showed me all the old parts. I forget now, but he changed, the rattling was to do with a radiator cap or something, and some other parts. He had a big dish of me old parts and he replaced them all, and he showed me and everything. So I was really happy. I started her up, mate, and now no rattle, nothing. She is just like new. Got home, I put Lucille in the garage, turned off the engine, and all I heard was scrape, like the back wheel was scraping, something was digging on the back wheel. So yeah, later on in the evening, there I go again, messaging him, bring it back to the shop. Took it back to the shop. I sat down on his little chair waiting, so I wanted Lucille today. There's no way I'm waiting another 3 days. And he got the old phone out, can you leave it overnight? I thought, oh man, you serious? Not again, that will be like 4 or 5 days. So I thought to myself, yep, it's got to be done. Put it in there. So left the bike there, off I went, walking home again, 10-minute walk. Before that day was over, I had a message, ready sir, ready. And I was ecstatic. I went, yes mate, I'm coming right now. It was rubbing on the brake or something, so he fixed that for free. Now I've got her back. This is the first time I've come into the city to test her out, because he said don't go fast for the first little bit because you got new parts and they will smell a bit, and I can smell them a little bit now, but she's running like a champion. So yeah, that was the conclusion of the road trip, guys, and I just think my lucky stars I got home. I mean, it wouldn't have been the end of the world, I would have got it fixed, but it was lucky it was towards the end of the trip. I knew something wasn't right because she was rattling. Now I'm back, I want to do it again, or go somewhere again, but I think it's time to put Lucille into road trip retirement, and it's my own doing. I've not looked after her over the years. I've not, you know, very rarely am I in the shop getting checked out over the last 5 years. Yeah, I don't think I'll even feel confident taking her far no more. Don't know why. That will always be in the back of my head. Maybe I'll rent out a bike and just leave Lucille for around the city now. Back in Chiang Mai, not a lot happening. There's a couple more trips I want to do, but it's just Lucille, man. So the guy now has changed all the throttle resistance and everything. It's actually safer. You know, he's put more give on the accelerator. So when at first I thought, hey, all the power's gone. But he's done it for safety. And now after like a day of using her, I've sort of thought, yeah, that's better. Because you roll her in. And he's put all the gear, the back brake, all soft. It used to be so tight and instant, and that's for safety too. He's done the proper throttle control, because before she was like instant with the throttle, and I do prefer now you just roll her in. Here she is, look, she ain't been washed, so it was all pissing out of here under the radiator here. And the red light on here was on. I keep looking down now, I think it's going to come on again. See, I thought it was the oil light, but it's not. It's an overheating light. I'll start her up now, look. Hey, have some of that then, mate. No ticking, nothing. All gone, look. So yeah, don't know what we're going to do next. We'll come up with something. I might do some local trips again outside of Chiang Mai, some places we haven't been. I'm gonna get going here, get a green tea. That's the finish of the mini series up around the north. It was cool, man. Seen a couple places that I'd always wanted to go, so happy days. We're gonna be getting up to some other stuff. Hope you're all safe and sound as always, guys, and I will see you in the next one. So take it easy, man. Take it easy.